Hello and welcome back to the online learning session. From today we'll be beginning a revision of chapter 2. So as you can see, this is a quick revision series, and let us go through the topics to be covered in this lesson. The meaning of different physical features. Number 2, different physical features of India. Number 3, the Himalayan mountains plus map work. The Greater Himalayas plus map work. The Middle Himalayas plus map work. And the Outer Himalayas plus map work. Students, as we have already seen that this is a revision lesson, therefore we'll only be looking at the finer points related to each and every topics mentioned here. So let us begin our revision session. So students, first of all, what do we actually mean by the physical features? We have learnt that the naturally created landforms or features of the earth are known as physical features, and they are classified as landforms or ecosystems. So whenever we see different kinds of landforms or ecosystems, we may call them physical features of the earth. Next, when we come down to the examples of the physical features, different types of landforms which you come across on the very surface of the earth are the physical features. So basically here we see different kinds of examples. For example, here you see in the picture number 1 that this is a mountain. Second, we see that there are rivers, plains, plateaus, deserts, coastal plains and islands. And the pictures, images related to the same have been put here. Next, we see that what are the physical features of India. Here we are learning about the physical features of India. What are the physical features or the physiographic divisions of India? So number 1, we see the Himalayan mountains. Number 2, the northern plains. Number 3, the peninsular plateau. Number 4, the Indian desert. Number 5, the coastal plains. And number 6, the islands. Clear? And as you can see here, the purple color relates to the mountains, that is the Himalayan mountains, and in this lesson we are just going to cover the Himalayan mountains. So here in the very map of India, wherever you find these purple color regions will be related to the Himalayan mountains. So try to identify all these places with the stretch of Himalayan mountains. Clear? Next, when we come down to the Himalayan mountains, we learn about the specific features, characteristic features of the Himalayan mountains as a whole. So first of all, as we already know that the Himalayan mountains are the loftiest and the most rugged. Clear? Loftiest means that it contains one of the highest peaks and a range of higher peaks of mountains around the world. Rugged means that it does not have a composition which look like uniform composition. For example, when we look at the rocks, when we look at the mountains, you can't find any smoothness in the stretch of the mountains. For example, it will keep on flowing like this and like this. Everywhere you can see different composition of rocks. Then you can see the difference in the height of the different divisions of the Himalayan mountains. Then you can see a sharp bend, a sharp decline in the height as well. For example, when we were studying about the different divisions of the Himalayas, first of all, the very first characteristic which we came across was the difference in height. Clear? So as you can see that the constitution of the different divisions of Himalayas is not uniform. As you can see, first of all, there is a difference in the height moving from the Greater Himalayas to the Shivaliks. Then we see there are also different kinds of rocks which you will find across different divisions of these mountains. For example, somewhere you will find softer rocks, somewhere you will find harder rocks. Therefore, let us go through its basic characteristics first of all. So the stretch across 2500 kilometers, the basic stretch of this is 2500 kilometers. This is the Greater or Inner Himalayas, this is the Middle Himalayas or the Lesser Himalayas or the Himachal, and this is the Shivaliks. Clear? So the total stretch of these mountains from here, from the Pamir Knot, you can see that from Jammu and Kashmir till Arunachal Pradesh, this is the stretch and this is 2500 kilometers. Next, we saw that the shape of these mountains represent that of an arc. Clear? If I try to draw a line here and we try to find out the basic shape of the expanse, the stretch of the Himalayas, you can see a clear-cut crescent or a clear-cut arc. Clear? So that is what we come across and learn, that the shape of the Himalayas, in which they stretch from the Greater Himalayas to the lower and the Lesser Himalayas and the Shivaliks, plus from their stretch from Jammu Kashmir to the Purvanchal, this shape is known as an arc. Clear? Okay. Next point, we saw that the variation in the width is between 400 kilometers and 150 kilometers. Of course, it will be, we'll try to also learn this through an illustration in the coming slides, but we see that when we come across different ranges, different sections of the Himalayas, we definitely get to see that there is a range of variation in the width. Okay, so that is what we are going to learn. For example, this is how we will calculate the width. So this width, for say here in the greater Himalayas region, the width is more, but in the middle Himalayas region, if we compare it to region 1, we get a lesser amount of variation, and then again this variation in the width will change in the division 3, that is the Shivaliks or the outer Himalayas. So this is what we learn about the variation of the Himalayas. So what do we actually take out from this slide? We take out from this slide a lot of points, a lot of important points. First of all, the loftiest and the most rugged mountains of the earth. Second, 2500 kilometers. Third, arc, plus the width variation is 400 to 150 kilometers. 4 important characteristics, and the 5th important characteristics that we come across is that it prevents the cold Arctic winds from reaching the tropical landmass. That is why India is not a cold desert. Now quickly go through the divisions of the Himalayas. So first we have seen the greater Himalayas with average peaks reaching up to 6000 meters. Okay, this is an important fact, students. You will be picking out these points. Number 1, average height of all the peaks will be 6000 meters in the greater Himalayas. Okay. Second, we see that as we descend from the greater Himalayas, from Himadri towards the lesser Himalayas, which is also known as the Himachal, second division, of course, the average peaks will rise up to 4000 meters. So an important point in the middle Himalayas or the lesser Himalayas. Then third, we see about the Himalayan range or the division is the outer Himalayas or the Shivaliks. Clear? And when we keep on moving from this side, from west to east, we come to Purv. Okay, that is why these mountains here are known as, in the regions, basically regions comprising Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, etc., and to the far east as well, all these regions are known as Purvanchal. Clear? So the expanse of the Himalayas is known as Purvanchal in these regions of the northeast. So from here we pick that the Himalayas are broadly divided into 3 main regions and 1 important sub-region. Clear? Therefore we see that the broader regions are greater Himalayas, the lesser Himalayas, and the outer Himalayas, and in the far east, in the northeast of India, we find eastern hills or the Purvanchal as well. Clear? Which also is seen as one of the regional divisions. Clear? Therefore we also saw that 6000 meters was the average heights of the ranges of the greater Himalayas. That comes to 4000 meters for the lesser Himalayas, and therefore we saw the eastern hills and the Shivaliks. Now let's move on. Now we come to the particular characteristics of the greater Himalayas or the inner Himalayas or the Himadri. Clear? So students, we have already seen that it is perennially snowbound and a range of glaciers could be found. We have seen that the highest range has an average height of 6000 meters. Next, we have seen that the core of this part of Himalayas is composed of granite. Students, as you remember, we have in the beginning studied about the composition of the Himalayas as a rugged mountain. So here we find granite. In the next division we will find something else, which is the lesser Himalayas. The rocks will be composed differently, and as well as in the Shivaliks or the outer Himalayas, the rocks of the mountains will be composed of different stones or rocks, etc. So here we come down to learning about the prominent peaks of the greater Himalayas. We have already studied about them, and this is the important point which is related to the map work. Okay, so we have seen Nanga Parvat, Mount Everest, Karakoram, Kanchenjunga, Namcha Barwa, etc. And when we come to learning about their regions, they are expanded across Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Sikkim, etc. So now we come down to learning some map work as well. So as we have studied right now, we have studied about some prominent peaks of the greater Himalayas, and these peaks comprise the Karakoram. Now let us try to directly locate these peaks. So here you can easily find out Karakoram, and this is not how you are going to label it on the map given to you while answering the questions. So you will be labeling it like this. There will be a point given to you like this, and there will be a line following it, and in this line you will have to write Karakoram, okay, like this, nothing else. Next we see Nanga Parvat to be lying here. Again, suppose there is a point and there will be a line on either side of these points, either in the left or on the right. So you will be writing here as Nanga Parvat. Clear? Now as we descend from Karakoram and we keep on moving, we come down to one of the important peaks of the Greater Himalayas, that is the Mount Everest. Further east, if we keep on moving, we will find Kanchenjunga, particularly across Sikkim in India. So this is how you are going to find out and label your map. Next we come down to learning the specific characteristics of the Middle or the Lesser Himalayas or Himachal. Okay, students, we have seen that this part of the Himalayan mountain is also known as the Himachal. Okay, and we have also seen that it is the most rugged mountain. Why? Let us go to learning about the structure or the composition of rocks. We have seen that it is composed of highly compressed and altered rocks, different kinds of rocks which do not have a smooth composition. The point number 3, we also see that the altitude varies between 3700 and 4500 meters, which we have already studied, that it roughly comes down to 4000 meters as average. Okay, and the average width is 50 kilometers. So students, when we were learning about the Greater Himalayas, and right now we are learning about the Lesser Himalayas, you can see that it lies above, the Greater Himalayas lies above the Lesser Himalayas. So you can feel the load of the sediments, you can feel the load, the pressure it is exerting on the Lesser Himalayas. So when we descend from the Greater Himalayas towards the Lesser Himalayas, we can feel a huge landmass which is compressing all the rocks. That is why we also find compressed rocks in this part of the Himalayas. Okay, so this is a picture, this is an image in which we have tried to create all the sections of the Himalayas and try to learn all the characteristics as well. For example, how much characteristics do we get to learn from here? Let us draw these lines first of all, and we'll try to determine the height of all these ranges. So here we find about the Greater Himalayas. First of all, we have already seen that the average height of the peaks will be 6000 meter. When we come down here, we have seen that the average height will be 4000 meters so far as the Middle Himalayas or the Lesser Himalayas are concerned. When we were descending from the Outer Himalayas, especially towards the Shivaliks and the Tarai region, we saw that the average height of this region has been 900 and 1500 meters. So this is how we see the different divisions of the Himalayas height wise as well. Now if we talk about the composition in terms of rocks, we have seen that this part of the Himalayas, the Greater Himalayas, comprised granite rocks. We have seen in the Lesser Himalayas it comprised compressed and altered rocks. Now we are going to learn some prominent peaks, some prominent characteristics of the Middle Himalayas as well. So students, we have already come across this peak which is known as Pir Panjal, and it has the longest as well as it is the most important range of Middle Himalayas or Lesser Himalayas. So let us try to locate here on the map. Okay, so when we come down to the Lesser Himalayas from Greater Himalayas, we'll find Pir Panjal around Kashmir Valley. Then we move almost adjacent to this range, you will be finding the Dhauladhar range and the Mahabharat ranges, which we have already studied. And one important characteristic of this range, that it has famous valleys as well. Okay, now these valleys are Kashmir, the Kangra and the Kullu Valley in Himachal Pradesh. Now here around the region of Pir Panjal you will find Kashmir, and you keep descending around Himachal Pradesh, you will be finding the Kangra Valley and the Kullu Valley. One of the most important characteristics again of this range is hill stations. So you are likely to find a lot of hill stations in the Lesser Himalayas. Students, this is one of the another maps which we are studying, which we are going through, and here you can see that this is Karakoram, okay, and as we descend from Karakoram, which is a part of Greater Himalayas, we come down to Lesser Himalayas, and here you find the Kashmir Valley, and in that valley you are likely to find this Pir Panjal range, nearby the Dhauladhar range, etc. So here if we talk about this zone, we have here learnt that this zone actually, which is of India, comprises the Greater Himalayas in this zone, and if we descend from there, we'll come down to the Lesser Himalayas. Clear? Now let's see what we are going to study. We are going to study about the outer Himalayas, clear, or the Shivaliks. Now we see that the outermost range of the Himalayas is called the Shivaliks. That is why it is also known as the outer Himalayas. Clear? Now we saw that the altitude of the Shivaliks vary from 900 to 1100 meters, and the width of these ranges vary between 10 kilometers and 50 kilometers. Let us come to the composition. We see that it is composed of unconsolidated sediments, and these valleys are also covered with thick gravel and alluvium. For this, students, let us recall a concept. We have right now studied about the Greater Himalayas, Zone 1, the Lesser Himalayas, Zone 2, and the Outer Himalayas, Zone 3, according to the heights. Okay, so let us assume that a few of the Himalayan rivers are descending from the Greater Himalayas towards the Lesser Himalayas. Now, as you know, due to its height, it will have a huge amount of energy. Now, when rivers start flowing from Greater Himalayas with huge energy and momentum, they start some activities, and these activities are known as erosional activities. Basically, as they come down across the rocks, they cut the rocks. So a cutting activity and erosional activity is what is done by the rivers throughout the course. And what will happen? It will cut the rocks into boulders, and when it comes down to the Middle Himalayas, subsequently the process will be on, the process of the erosional activity will be on, and here also the river will cut a lot of rocks, and all these rocks or sediments will be carried out and carried down to the Shivaliks. So what actually happens, due to the continuous flow of rivers, due to the continuous energetic flow of rivers, all these rocks which were cut through in the process in the region of the Greater Himalayas being carried down to the Middle Himalayas or the Lesser Himalayas get further eroded, and what happens as a result, rocks eventually become gravels, and the gravels eventually become alluvium. Okay, so here near Shivaliks, when we come down to 900 meters or 1100 meters, we get to see some finer particles, some finer sediments of silt, clay, alluvium, etc. That is why when we come down to the Shivaliks, we see that the valleys in the Shivaliks are covered with gravel and alluvium. So this is why we have seen, students, the first point which we had studied about the Himalayas, that it is one of the most rugged mountains. We have seen rugged in terms of its stretch. It is not in a smooth pattern. There are lots of bends, cuts, etc., different types of shapes, and as well as the composition of rocks. For example, in Zone 1, which was our Greater Himalayas, we found that it is composed of granite rocks, one of the hardest rocks. In the second zone, if the Middle Himalayas or the Lesser Himalayas, we saw that it is composed of compressed and unaltered rocks. Now when we come down to learning Shivaliks, we have seen that it is composed of unconsolidated sediments like thick gravel and alluvium. Now let us learn one of the most important characteristics of this part of the Himalayas, that is the dune. Okay, so we'll come to learning about the dune. What are dunes? Dunes are the longitudinal valleys lying between the Lesser Himalayas and the Shivaliks. And names of some famous dune are mentioned here: Dehradun, Kotli Dune, Patli Dune, which are some of the famous examples of dune. Now let us try to understand this by using a diagram. Now let us assume that this is your Middle Himalayas, what we have learnt here, or the Lesser Himalaya. Longitudinal valleys which lie between the Lesser Himalayas and the Shivaliks are what are known as dunes. So if we draw a diagram, we see that these are Lesser Himalayas and these are Shivaliks. Okay, so between these valleys could be found, longitudinal valleys, and these valleys would be known as dunes, will be called as dunes. So here we come to the end of the lesson. Now let us try to summarize this quickly, what we have tried to achieve in this revision series. So first of all, we came to learn about the physical features found on the surface of the earth. We learnt about that they are naturally created features. Examples consist of mountains, rivers, plains, plateau, deserts, coastal plains, islands. Clear? Now when we learnt about the physical features of India, or the physiographic divisions of India, we came to learn about the Himalayan mountains, the northern plains, the peninsular plateau, the Indian desert, the coastal plains, and the islands, which you can easily identify through the color coding. Here in the pink we saw Himalayas, then in the green we see the great northern plains of India, then in the saffron or brown we see the peninsular plateau of India, then in the pink we find the coastal plains of India on the eastern and the western Ghats, and then we see the islands which could be found here as Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So these are broadly the physiographic divisions of India. Then when we came to learn about the Himalayan mountains, we learned that it is the loftiest and the ruggedest mountains of the world. Then we learned that it stretches around 25 kilometers from Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh, and the shape represents that of an arc, which is like this, like a crescent, like a curve. Okay. Then we learned that the width of this mountain ranges varies between 400 kilometers to 150 kilometers. Then we learnt about the broader divisions of the Himalayas, which comprises the greater Himalayas, the lesser Himalayas, the outer Himalayas or the Shivaliks, and the eastern hills or the Purvanchal, lying from Jammu Kashmir down to Arunachal Pradesh in the northeast, like this. Okay, one more line, and this becomes the length, and this becomes the width. Okay, this is how we have seen that the width varies between 400 and 150 kilometers, because you can easily see that the Himalayas stretch this much here around Kashmir and Jammu, then this much here, then you can see it begins to taper, then again it begins to broaden, again it becomes to taper. So this is how the width of the Himalayas is keeping on varying. Now next we came down to learning the great or the inner Himalayas. So what are the points to be picked out from here? Now we have seen that it is perennially snowbound and a range of glaciers can be easily found, and the height was 6,000 meters. Then we came to learn about the core of this part of Himalayas composed of granite. Then we learnt about the prominent peaks to be taken out from here. And then we came to learn about the regions which cover Himalayas. Okay, in the peaks we have learnt about Nanga Parvat, Mount Everest, Karakoram, Kanchenjunga, Namcha Barwa. However, there are much more peaks in the greater Himalayas. We are learning about only the most important ones here. This is when we came to learning about the map skills, the map work, and this is how you have to do the map work. Locations will be given on the map like this, like a point, and a line will follow it. So in the line you will have to write the location. This is how you have to label the map. Next we came to learn about the middle and the lesser Himalayas. When we learnt about the middle Himalayas, we learned that it is the most rugged mountain, and it is also known as Himachal, composed of compressed and altered rocks. And we have also seen that the altitude varies between 3700 and 4500 meters, roughly coming down to 4000 meters, and the average width is 50 kilometers. This is how we learned the characteristics of all the three sections at one place, and you can also try to incorporate this type of drawings, maps, diagrams in order to simplify your notes. Next we came down to learning about some important aspects of the middle Himalayas or the lesser Himalayas, and we learnt about the important peaks which were Pir Panjal, Dhauladhar and Mahabharat, which we have also located here, the Pir Panjal and the Mahabharat and the Dhauladhar ranges. Then we came down to learning about the valleys, and we learnt about the Kashmir Valley and the Kangra and Kullu Valley in Jammu Kashmir. One of the important aspects of this region was the hill station. Here we have tried to see the valley. So when we descended from the greater Himalayas, we came to the middle Himalayas and we found Kashmir Valley, Pir Panjal, Dhauladhar, etc. We have learnt about the Shivaliks, that it is the outermost range of the Himalayas, plus the width will vary between 10 to 50 kilometers, and the length varies, or the altitude varies between 900 and 1100 meters. It is composed of unconsolidated sediments and the valleys are covered with thick gravel and alluvium. One of the important characteristics of this part of the Himalayas are dunes, which are longitudinal valleys which actually lie between the lesser Himalayas and the Shivaliks, and these are the names of some of the most important and well-known dunes. So here we come to the end of the lesson. Begin your revision, do your revision nicely, and we'll meet in the next lesson. Thank you.